Chapter 21. Taking the Guess Out of Advertising. There is a concern in New York called the Tested Cell Institute and Word Laboratory, Inc., whose purpose it is to take guess out of selling. The writer once listened to a lecture by founder Elmer Wheeler, in which he showed that selling as it is usually practiced is the world's biggest guessing game. Not one salesman in 1,000, he said, can tell you exactly what words and phrases sold his customer. He merely guesses that this word or sentence will sell, and sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. We have high-salaried executives, Mr. Wheeler pointed out, to buy the merchandise and place it at the counters, and other high-salaried executives who advertise it and bring the people to the counters. So far, so good. Then what happens? The actual selling of the merchandise is entrusted to a humble $15 a week sales clerk. This is retailing's oldest weakness, its biggest handicap. An answer to this problem is to control the spoken word by placing the mouths of the $15 a week sales clerks. The words and expressions a $50,000 a year executive would use were he behind the counter, selling your merchandise. Within a period of time, we have amassed upwards of 100,000 selling phrases from over 200 lines of industry. The sentences that have made sale after sale we called tested selling sentences. All of us are consciously or unconsciously using tested selling sentences from morning, noon till night. Some of us use them to sell ideas, others service, and others actual merchandise. Little Willie wants an extra slice of bread and jam. Sister wants 15 cents for the movies. Dad is scheming how to get out of the house for lodge that night, and Mother is planning to have Dad sweep out the cellar. While around the corner, the preacher is planning a visit on the household to make it more church-conscious and wanting to have their own pet tested selling sentences they plan to use on one another. The butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, all trades and professions have their tested selling sentences. The dentist says, "Now, Willie, this won't hurt you much." The doctor, the lawyer, the undertaker uses them. The barber says, "How about a nice shampoo?" When you refuse with your best tested selling sentence about being in a hurry to meet the wife, he proceeds to poke you in the eye with his elbow. Hidden in every spool of thread or row of safety pins are reasons why customers will buy. One salesperson says, "These safety pins will not burst open in the garment and injure baby." Another says, "This thread is waxed, madam, and will not twist while sewing." Another has found real magic when he says, "This suit has long pants, sonny, like your dad wears." Another says this fly swatter is square, not oval, and gets them in the corners. How many times have you missed a fly by only a fraction of an inch? Well, they are making fly swatter square now to get him in the corners. This union suit is buttonless, and the child can put it on by himself. What a tested selling sentence for the woman who has to dress and undress little Johnny 5 times a day. Only last week I bought some cigars in the chain store down the street. The sales clerk said, "How about a pipe today, sir? Only $1? "Not interested," said I. I'm not surprised the clerk had had many a refusal that day from using the insane approach, for he began to tap nervously on the counter when a man came up and said, "Say, is that pipe non-breakable?" "It sure is," said the clerk, coming to sudden life. "Why, I've been tapping it on the counter all day." "I'll buy one," said the man. By accident, the clerk had hit upon a real tested selling sentence. He sold so many pipes that week using the sentence that he was placed in the advertising department of this national chain of stores, and this is a true story. But I ask you, gentlemen, why should this company or any other take such chances? Why not give this salesman, and all others, sentences tested to make sales more surefire so that salespersons will sell more of our products? Just because a sentence sounds reasonable to you does not necessarily indicate it will sell. Why gamble with unknown phraseology? Why not take advantage of modern science? The above are only a few excerpts from Mr. Wheeler's interesting talk. But what he says about word-of-mouth selling is just as true as the printed word. We have found, for instance, in selling through the printed word, a number of tested openings that almost invariably win the attention of the reader. And of all the different types of openings, the how appeal seems strongest. E. Haldeman Julius, in selling his little blue books by mail, found that putting a how into a title frequently doubled or even quadrupled the pull of that title. A book success, for instance, would sell twice as well if its title were How to Win Success. than if we're called merely the rules of success. Here is the way we worked that how idea into the opening letter selling a facial cream. How a new kind of cream makes the skin soft, clear, lovely, for reasons that every woman will understand. Dear Madam, women who know it all are not invited to read this page, for it holds nothing of interest to the wise young woman who is perfectly satisfied with her complexion and her beauty aids, and who feels like the man that resigned from the patent office back in '86 because everything had been discovered that was ever going to be discovered. This page is a personal message to those women who are worried about lines or spots or blackheads or blemishes that threaten to ruin an otherwise beautiful complexion. Once in a blue moon, a discovery is made of such importance as to revolutionize the methods ordinarily used to beautify the skin. Such a discovery, we believe, is the new so-and-so bleach creme treatment. You have 4 organs, whose function it is to and purify and sweeten the body. Of these 4, skin is most important, more so even than the lungs. Sometimes called the second lung, the skin throws off an unbelievable amount of impurities. So it is essential that the pores of your skin should be kept open, that they should have a chance to breathe, that they should not be clogged with dead tissue or dust or cosmetics. But here's the most important part. The outermost layer of skin is dead. It is exceedingly thin transparent, but it is quite dead. And it is this outermost layer that, if left alone, brings on spots and patches. Not only that, but by clogging the pores with its dried tissue and stopping the cleansing flow of perspiration, it to cause blackheads, pimples, and splotches. So the first step in bringing back a soft, clear love is to rid your face of all that dried up layer of dead. And this is the purpose of so-and-so bleach creme. So-and-so bleach creme is not an astringent. It does not. It requires no rubbing. It dissolves only dried, dead. You spread it on lightly at night. You rub it off in morning. It is purposely made so mild and safe that it will not remove all the dead skin in a single treatment, but 2 or 3 treatments. You notice the difference. End of a week, you are amazed at the baby softness, the creaminess, the loveliness of the new skin that time had been hiding behind that mask of dead tissue. So-and-so bleach creme does not pretend to work miracles. Only nature can do that. But so-and-so bleach does remove the mask that hides your natural, lovely skin. You see, sun and wind and strong soaps dry up your outer skin, leave it muddy and lifeless. Yet that dead outer skin remains firmly attached to the true inner skin and keeps it from breathing properly, from ridding itself of impurities. Is it any wonder that your complexion becomes dull, that it develops freckles and blackheads and the like? Mind you, this is no new and untried theory. The base of this unusual cream was first employed many years ago by a prominent Southern physician. Since then, special research has given additional value to it. More than 30 well-known beauty culturists, scientists, and physicians having contributed of their knowledge to perfect the formula. Today, it is backed by a $200,000 company, and more than 15 million so-and-so bleach creme beauty treatments are given each year in homes and beauty parlors throughout the country. Will you try it? If I send it to you subject to 30 days trial, your money to come back to you in full if you are not more than satisfied? Before I used your creams, writes Mrs. DBG, I had a muddy, broken-out skin. Now it is just like velvet. Everywhere I go, I get compliments on my complexion, and I felt it my duty to let you know what a wonderful product you have on the market. And her letter is only one of hundreds. Just your name on the enclosed card with 50 cents in coin or stamps will bring you a large jar of so-and-so bleach creme, the same large jar that formerly sold for $1. And if you mail it right away, we will send with it, as our gift, a generous size sample of so-and-so almond lotion to keep the hands soft and white. Sincerely. It is said that Demosthenes used to taunt his rival orator, Aeschines, with his cleverness, but ineffectiveness. You make them say, charged Demosthenes, what a wonderful speech. I make them say, let us march against Philip. The same thing is likely to be true of letters. Beware of the letter that everyone admires for its cleverness. It may bring you a great need of praise, but few orders. The good letter is one that leaves your reader hardly conscious of the letter itself. So interested is he in doing the thing you want him to do. Judged from that point of view, here is a good letter. Show me one of your rejected manuscripts, and I'll show you the secret of making all your stories successful. Dear writer, in order that you may realize at the outset the peculiar importance of this letter, let me inform you before taking up the details that only 100 of those who receive it can have the benefit this month of the personal analysis and the invaluable suggestions which it offers. Under the supervision of Dr. John Jones, editor, university professor, successful writer and teacher of writing, the faculty of the John Jones School has agreed to read and analyze 10 stories each day, not over 5,000 words each, to point out why these stories were not acceptable and to tell you the secret of making them successful. This letter is being sent to a limited number of writers. To the first 300 of them who respond, it offers the chance to get a personal, detailed analysis of their strong points and their weak ones, the factors which make their stories good and those they must change before they can be financially successful. It offers you this personal analysis under the direct supervision of perhaps the most successful teacher of writing in the world today. Not at the usual cost of $25 or $50, but for only $1. Pick one of your most promising stories or articles, not exceeding 5,000 words in length. Send it with $1.10 for return postage to Dr. John Jones, Jonesville, Mo. Pinning a slip to it marked, "For personal analysis and suggestions." To 10 of these each day, the faculty will give their personal study, analyzing the strengths and the weaknesses, criticizing, suggesting, pointing out how the stories can be made successful. They will take the stories in the order in which they are received. If they come too late for them to reach them within a month, we shall return them to you. Remember, only 10 stories a day are all that the faculty can find time for. And it's going to be first come, first served. So if you have a story which you know to be good, but which the editors keep sending back, mail it in. There may be only some minor weakness standing between you and success in writing. There may be some rule Dr. Jones can give you, some one thing to watch for which will change your stories overnight from failures into successes. Will you risk $1 to learn the truth about what is holding you back? Will you invest $1 for the secret of literary success? Sincerely. Of course, there is the occasional letter that combines cleverness with a really effective appeal. When you get one of these, you have a sure winner. As clever a letter as we have often seen, and at the same time as effective, was one received from the Advertising Club of New York. Dear Mr. Collier, the directors of the Advertising Club of New York have agreed to accept my proposal of a few important names for membership in the club, without having to pay the initiation of $100, and your name is one of those I have suggested. This means that your signature on the enclosed application will permit me to submit your name to our admissions committee and in due course place you on the same basis as our present members, with your first quarter's dues of $18.75 paying you up in full to July 1st. I am certain that you will appreciate this action of the board and welcome the opportunity of becoming associated with the membership of this club. Your joining the club is a matter of interest to me, and I look for the return of your application with keen pleasure. Most sincerely. That same idea can be used in many ways to advantage. In getting subscribers to a magazine, for instance, here is a way a client of ours used it with considerable success. I wonder if you can qualify as a player patron? Dear Mr. Jones, you have been designated as one qualified to serve on our board of player patrons, and our directors have authorized me to invite you to become one of this select group of amateur sportsmen. The requirements are simple. For those like yourself who are interested in sport for the fun of it, rather than for what they can get out of it. You see, the Players has, from its inception, had an advisory board consisting of such well-known gentlemen as so-and-so, such-and-such, Woosit, and others equally important in the world of sport. The idea now is merely to enlarge this board by having back of it a group of men and women well known in their local fields, at least, and many of them nationally known, who will form a patrons group, and to whom difficult questions may be referred for judgment. The purpose of this group will not be monetary support, but to have back of us the judgment and the experience of men and women known in the world of sports for their integrity, their knowledge of sport, and their sportsmanship. Will you kindly fill out the enclosed card, putting a check mark against the sports you are most familiar with, so we may know which questions to refer to you? It is, of course, essential that all of our patrons group should be readers of the players. But because our idea is not monetary support, we are going to enter the names of this special group on our fists at half the usual price of $2 a year instead of the regular $4. Will you fill out the card right away, please, so we can get your name among our Players Patrons group at once and have the benefit of your judgment on the questions that are constantly coming up for decision? Sincerely. There are numerous variations of this method that can be used in dozen ways and all effectively. Here's another of them. Will you give me a little information about yourself? Just the sports that you go in for most? Dear Sir, this letter is purely personal and not primarily concerned with business. Rather, it invites a courtesy from you, appreciating the fact that if, in your considerate way, you can help the good cause by a bit of cooperation, you will do so, and gladly. You know the players, of course. It was founded 6 years ago to give a very limited group of Americans a publication that should be peculiarly their own. It numbers among its subscribers the best-known patron of amateur sports in this country. The editors are now thinking of restricting its field to a few major spoils, but before coining to a definite decision, they want to determine accurately the sports in which you and other representative sportsmen are most interested. Will you help us? Will you put a number against each snort listed on the enclosed card to indicate the order in which they interest you? There is no obligation of any kind attached. We want your preferences, whether you ever read the players or not. But to show our appreciation of your courtesy in giving us this information, we shall be glad to enter your subscription to the players for the next year for half its regular subscription price, only $2. The Players' Almanac, which comes in each issue, will alone be worth that small amount to you. Send no money. Just your name on the enclosed card, with your preferences checked against the list on the side, am all we need. Will you jot these down now, please, and drop it in the mail? It's already stamped. We shall greatly appreciate your courtesy. Sincerely. We all like to feel important. Anything that raises our ego, that makes us feel more necessary to the general scheme of things, is sure to please us. The cleverness of the foregoing letters lies in their ability to feed our vanity, without making it too apparent that this is the real purpose of the letter. The letter that follows had a similar purpose and used on different magazines and with special lists, pulled amazingly high returns. I wonder if you would be good enough to give me the benefit of your experience? Dear sportsman, will you give me the benefit of your judgment on a matter of considerable importance to us? Most magazines, as you know, are edited by a very small group, dominated by one man. He thinks he knows what his readers want, better than any writer or group of writers can tell him. And he may be right. But we should like to try an experiment. We are going to get together a select group of hunters and fishermen from different sections of the country and have them practically edit hunter and fishermen for us for a few months. We want to see if a magazine for red-blooded men, edited by a select group of men who are sportsmen in the true sense of the word, men who find their greatest pleasure with rod, gun, tent, and canoe, will not have a greater appeal than stories picked because they measure up to the standard of any one man. Will you help? Will you accept a place on our advisory editorial staff? Mind you, this is no mere bluff. This will require some real work on your part. You will have to read enough of every story in Hunter and Fisherman to criticize it if it is not up to your standard, or if it is not the type you regard as interesting. We shall want you to treat the magazine as your own. Condemn everything you would not accept if you were the sole editor, and tell us why you condemn it. Suggest the type of article you would put in, and the authors you consider worthwhile. We mean this. We want the benefit of your judgment, your help in making Hunter and Fisherman a magazine for every true sportsman who really cares about his shooting and fishing and camping and woodcraft, and who wants all the skill and knowledge he can get. We want to make Hunter and Fisherman a magazine that every member of the editorial staff can be proud of and can feel that he has had a part in the making of. We want you as a coworker, not merely as a reader. Will you join us? Your reward? We'd like to make it a complimentary subscription to Hunter and Fisherman. We can't do that on account of the post office regulations governing second-class mail. But we are going to do the next best thing. Instead of the 50 cents a copy, which 50,000 newsstand buyers pay for it every month, instead of the $5 a year paid by our regular subscribers, we will send Hunter and Fisherman to you at exactly half price, 2 years subscription for the price of one. Not only that, but you need send us only $1 now. The balance of $3.50 for your special 2-year subscription price you can send us when we bill you 6 months from now. That is the only thing we shall have to charge for. We can send you prepaid reply envelopes for all correspondence, but under the post office regulations, we cannot mail second class to more than a very small percentage of our subscription list, unless those subscriptions are paid for. The special low price of $5 you will pay for a 2-year subscription will come back to you many times over, however, in the contact you will make with other hunters and fishermen, and in the greatly increased value you will get from the magazine yourself. As John Jones Doe put it, no man can hope to master woodcraft in one short lifetime. Always he is learning. No small percentage of my own knowledge of how to kill game and catch fish has come from the lips or the writings of other sportsmen. So in helping others to learn more of woodcraft, you will be increasing your own knowledge of the art too. And instead of enjoying only 2 or 3 weeks of hunting and fishing, you will be reliving your experiences the whole year through. Will you try it? Will you give us the benefit of your judgment and experience in making Hunter and Fisherman the most practical of all outdoor magazines? Only a few men from each section can be selected to make up this advisory editorial staff. Your name has been suggested for one of them. Will you serve as a member? Just your name and address on the enclosed acceptance form, with your check or a $1 bill attached, are all that is necessary now. After you've had time to examine a copy or two, we'll write you about suggestions and the like. Will you put your name on the acceptance and mail it back now? Thank you, appreciatively. While most people lack the courage for real leadership, few there are who do not long to be looked up to, as being a bit above their fellows. Organizers of lodges and clubs realize this predominant trait in human nature and capitalize it to the fullest degree. And publishers have not been backward in giving their readers the chance to become founders, or charter subscribers, or members of some more or less exclusive group. Here is a membership offer by the Literary Guild, which we understand was particularly effective. Dear friend, you have been elected to full membership in the Literary Guild of America for 1 year. Here is your membership certificate. It is made out in your name and is non-transferable. Your membership entitles you to all advantages of the Guild, including the special new features that have been so enthusiastically received by thousands of other members. It entitles you also to one of the most entertaining and brilliant books ever published, an American omnibus, a library of the best of Americana, absolutely free. You now need only sign and return the membership certificate to put your membership into immediate effect and to receive the beautiful gift volume. Probably you are already familiar with the Literary Guild, the book club which has become almost a necessity to thousands of readers. The new membership plan makes the Guild far and away the most satisfactory, convenient, and economical method of obtaining the books you most want to own. As a member of the Literary Guild, you are entitled to all of these advantages. 1. Every month you receive, free, a copy of the Guild magazine, Wings. This interesting little magazine contains original articles by and about the important writers of today, and many delightful photographs and art reproductions. In addition, you will find a full description of the book which the editors have selected as the outstanding one of the following month. This book is selected from the manuscripts submitted each month by all leading publishers. The best book is chosen, and a special, usually more attractive than the regular retail edition. 2. With your copy of Wings, you receive an announcement slip. If you do not care to receive this following month's selection, you simply return the announcement slip. Otherwise, destroy the slip and the book will come to you, postage paid on the first of the month. 3. When the selected book arrives, take 5 days to read it. Then, if you wish, return it at our expense and owe nothing. If you decide to keep the book, send $2 as payment in full. It is not necessary to buy the book unless you wish to. 4. Guild members save up to 50% and more. The price of Guild selections in the regular retail bookstore runs as high as $5, yet you never pay more than $2 for them through the Guild. 5. Each month in Wings, the editors of the Guild review briefly about 20 current books other than Guild selections. You may purchase any of these recommended books at the regular publisher's prices. They will be sent postpaid. 6. In fact, you may purchase, through the Guild, any book published and in print in the United States at regular publisher's prices. Such purchases will be promptly executed and the books will be sent to you, postage prepaid. 7. You may purchase as few as 4 books a year through the Guild and still meet the requirements of full membership. These books may be either Guild selections or recommended books, or any other books of your choice. 8. Membership in the Guild is free. There are no dues, assessments, delivery costs, or incidental charges of any kind. You pay only for the books you choose. You pay only $2 each for the Guild selections which you accept, although their regular retail prices range up to $5. You are never required to take a book you do not want. 9. The editorial board, which selects one outstanding book and keeps you informed of all the best books each month, is composed of 4 prominent authors, editors, and critics: Carl Van Doren, Julia Peterkin, Joseph Woodcrutch, and Burton Rasco. 10. As a new member, you receive free An American Omnibus, edited by Carl Van Doren. In this gigantic volume of 1488 pages is included a full-length novel, short stories, essays, poetry, humor, mystery, and even a play. Sinclair Lewis, Booth Tarkington, Ring Lardner, Mark Connolly, George Ade, Dorothy Parker, Don Marquise, Mary Austin, and many other important writers are included in this omnibus of literary Americana, prepared to be read for sheer enjoyment. This entertaining volume will be sent you free as soon as you have signed and returned your membership certificate. Important: protect yourself against rising book prices. The cost of raw materials for the manufacture of books is being advanced 30%. Yet we guarantee to protect our members against any increase in the price of Guild selections for 1 year. We urge you, therefore, to sign and return your membership certificate at once. Sincerely yours. A few years ago, Nelson Doubleday sold 1 million copies of the Book of Etiquette on a Keeping Up with the Joneses website. And since he blazed the trail, hundreds of products of all kinds have been advertised and successfully sold in the same way. One such ad that we remember was, "Can you talk about books with the rest of them?" Knowing its success, we used the same appeal in writing a letter for Stage Magazine. Here is the way it went. Can you talk about plays and the like with the rest of them? Dear reader, an innocent-looking questionnaire, just a little ink on a piece of paper, is enclosed with this letter. This questionnaire, when answered and returned to us, will enable us to tell you whether you rate as a drawing room sphinx, with whom conversation is a lost art unless the talk turns to business, or as an all-around man of affairs, as much at home in the world center of entertainment as in the marts of commerce. The brightest hours of the day should be those after dark, if you know where to spend them. The Stage tells you each month what's new, what's interesting in the whole round of metropolitan life after dark. Theaters, movies, radio, supper clubs. It covers the world of entertainment, informs you infallibly what to see and do. Rich, lavish, and colorful, it is at once beautiful and diverting. It ensures your enjoyment when you are out, keeps you in touch even when you stay at home. For the Stage reports each month the whole dazzling world of amusement, all the vast apparatus of the relaxation and gaiety, which inframes the night's fun. It visits the friendly cocktail spots, the dinner, dancing, and supper places, pictures the modes and manners of all the gay pilgrims to Baghdad, tells you where to go, what to do, before the theater and after, to get the utmost of fun and entertainment. Will you try the next 5 issues if I send them to you at the special price of $1? And will you fill out the enclosed questionnaire so we can tell you just how high you rate today in your knowledge of where to go and what to do to get the most fun for your money? Make no mistake about this, Broadway is vividly alive even though it is summer. And scattered over the country are hundreds of small playhouses that are well and entertainingly run. Everything that is bright, tuneful, or interesting will be reflected in the colorful pages of Stage. The enclosed card will bring you Stage for the next 5 months at the special price of $1, just about half what it would cost you if you bought these issues on the newsstands. Will you try it? Will you see for yourself how it saves you the time and money wasted on mediocre performances? How it gives you the vital news on all that qualifies as valid entertainment? Just your name and address on the enclosed card is all that is necessary. Will you jot these down and drop it in the mail? Now? Sincerely. The above letter illustrates the point that Mr. Wheeler made that when you find an approach that is unusually successful, it pays to develop it to the utmost, to develop it, and then to extend it as far as possible to ideas of a similar nature. At one of the direct mail conventions, for instance, a speaker told us that the only letter from which his company had been able to get a satisfactory response was one beginning. I wonder if you would be good enough to do me a favor. So every letter they used started with some variation of that appeal. When the writer was with the new process company of War and Paw, we found letters of that type to be successful, but we could never afford to stick to it or any one type of opening. We wrote to the same people too often, and they would soon have tired of it. So we tested continually for new starters. And of a similar nature to this one, we found a dozen others that pulled just as well, while many of an entirely different style greatly outpulled it. There is no one best method of approaching your reader, and no one knows all the successful methods. But experienced advertising men have learned a number of ways that work well in a large majority of cases, and unless you know better ones, it pays to use these tested methods. They go far towards taking the guess out of advertising. You have seen numbers of advertisements, for instance, starting, "Give me 5 minutes and I'll give you this or that." So successful has this approach been found that it has been put among proven order getters. Why not adapt it then to your offer? Here's the way we used it for one client. Give me 2 minutes, and I'll give you the secret of a goodly profit without investment. Dear sir, I am going to send you, in the next few days, a book of Christmas cards that are different. For your most particular customers, this book is unlike any you have ever used before because 1. It has the new plastic style of binding that opens flat and makes it easy for a woman to hold. Small in size, light in weight, it is an easy book to handle. 2. Many of the cards are illustrated with beautiful etchings, hand-colored, of new and original designs that will be in great demand among those who want their cards to be distinctive. Here are no duplicates of other Christmas books. The cards in this book were, for the most part, made especially for us. 3. An outstanding feature of this new book is the number of engraved cards. With their appealing designs, their beautiful coloring, and their happily phrased messages, they need only to be seen to be appreciated. I am going to send this new and different book of Christmas cards to you, with no cost or obligation on your part, for you to examine and actually put to the test in your Christmas card department. There is only one thing. I don't want to send it without your permission. You can grant that in a moment on the enclosed card. Mind you, there's no charge of any kind for the book, in spite of the fact that it is amazingly expensive to make up. We send it to you at our own risk for your free use. All we ask of you is that you give it a chance to show what it can do, that you put it where your customers can see it, where they can compare it with the cards offered by others. These cards, though so distinctive and beautiful, are in the popular price class, 5 cents, 10 cents, and 15 cents each. The margin of profit is the same as you get from your other Christmas card books, and they have this big advantage. 10 years' experience has equipped us to handle quickly and efficiently as much business as you can send us, and to turn out all orders promptly, right up to the last minute before Christmas. Only 125 of these Christmas books are made up each season. Only 125 stores can handle our cards, never more than one in each section of the country. So there is no danger of duplication. We should like you to be the store to handle our cards for your section. May we send you our Christmas book? Just your name on the enclosed card is all that is necessary, but please mail it soon, for we shall have to make it first come, first served. Sincerely, That same client had recently received a letter which struck him favorably. It started with the story of a Klondike miner who had struck it rich, and wanting to show his importance, walked into a restaurant in Seattle and ordered $25 worth of ham and eggs. The waiter, not to be outdone, told him he was sorry, but they didn't serve half portions. And the story was used to point the moral that no matter how much you try to outdo the other fellow, there is always someone to cap your tail with a stronger one. This client was so struck with that idea that he wanted a letter along the same lines, so we wrote the following to test against the more proven appeal of the previous letter. The proven approach won, but he had the right idea. It is always worthwhile to keep trying something new against the old. With every big mailing we ever made on new process company products, we always included tests of new letters. And it was surprising how often we developed new approaches that outpulled anything that had been used before. Dear Mr. Jones, you've heard the story, I know, of the proud fisherman who was trying to impress a couple of guides with his piscatorial proficiency. I had a big tarpon on the line, he was explaining, when along came an enormous shark, opened his mouth, and just swallowed that tarpon whole. Did I have a time landing that shark? Grunted one of the guides, expectorating disgustedly. Where I come from, we bait with sharks. Which goes to show that no matter how strong one makes his story, there is always someone ready to go him one better. If I told you that our new 1937 Book of Christmas cards is better than those you now use, someone else would just make a stronger statement. So I shall say only that our book is different. To begin with, it is easier for a woman to handle because it has the new plastic style of binding that opens flat. An outstanding feature of the book is the number of engraved cards, with beautiful etchings hand-colored, of new and original designs made especially for us, that will be in demand among those who want their cards to be distinctive. Lastly, there is no charge for the book, in spite of its costliness. We send it to you at our own risk and expense for your free use. The margin of profit is the same you get from your other books. The cards are in the popular price class, 5 cents, 10 cents, and 15 cents. And we can offer you this big advantage. 10 years' experience has equipped us to handle quickly and efficiently as much business as you can send us, and to turn out orders promptly, right up to the last minute. Will you try it? The enclosed card will bring this amazingly attractive book of cards to you without cost and without obligation. There is only one thing. We make up only 125 books each year. No more. We send only one to each territory. We should like to send the one for your territory to you. May we? Sincerely. The one thing that should always be borne in mind is that it is not merchandise you are selling, but human nature, human reactions. The movie people have found that people always respond to certain motivations, so they have their guaranteed laugh producers, their guaranteed methods of turning on the tears, and so on. It doesn't matter what the play, they can drag in a scene showing a dignified butler carrying a tray, have him stumble and dive into the whipped cream, and they are sure of a good laugh. Or they can show the little boy kneeling at his mother's knee, praying, "God bless Daddy and bring him back safe," and be sure of wringing a tear from every woman in the audience. In the same way, you can take an approach that has successfully sold a set of books, and with very little change, adapt it to selling shoes or socks or luggage or any one of 1,000 other products, and be just as successful in disposing of these. The Give Me 5 Minutes approach, for instance, used in one of the foregoing letters. You can use it to sell a relief for athlete's foot, as in, "Give me 5 days and I'll give you relief from itching feet." Or a new dance step. "Give me 15 minutes and I'll give you the secret of dancing to the new slow time music." Or a new car. "Give me 5 minutes and I'll give you a new sensation in tiding comfort." Here is the way it was adapted to selling a new set of books. "Give me 5 days and I'll give you the secret of learning. Any subject." Dear reader, men who know it all need go no further into this letter than this paragraph, because it is not for them. Neither is it for those who are satisfied with their present positions and the progress they have made in life. This letter is for the man whose ship has not come in, who wants to get ahead, and who realizes that he will earn more only as he learns more. For this letter gives you the secret of the most important, yet least known of all the arts, the secret of learning. America spends $2 billion a year on its public schools, other millions in training teachers how to teach, but very little in showing students how to learn. Is it any wonder that most people forget all they have been taught in classrooms within 5 years after they leave school? Is it surprising that students should dawdle through 4 years in college to learn what, in the opinion of Professor Pitkin of Columbia, any man who understood the art of learning might grasp in 6 months? For here, according to Professor Pitkin, is the amazing fact: when you know how to learn, half an hour daily is enough to master the fundamentals of any science within a year. Never before have the rewards for high-speed learners been so great. When you know how to learn, you put yourself in position to master the intricacies of any job or any problem. Quickly, easily. You equip yourself in the race of life to keep a jump ahead of the crowd, and that is all the lead you need in life or in a race to pull down the biggest prices the world has to offer. The old adage of live and learn might well be changed to learn and then live as you please. What is the secret of learning? Headline treatment. Sharply outlined, quickly digested resumes of each subject. With these as a framework, it is easy to add a thorough understanding of the details of the subject. Notice the way a newspaper picks the high spots of the day's news, puts them in headlines, then follows with a brief resume that tells the essentials of the story in a dozen words. That is the secret of quickly learning any subject. Getting the headlines that put the idea across, following these with a short resume, and then filling in the details. It is simplified study made easy, and that is what we offer you in the College Outline series. Headline treatment that gives you the important fact, illustrations that sum up whole chapters, pithy resumes that cover the essential framework, and then additional particulars to fill in the picture. Years ago, the late President Eliot of Harvard University startled the world by saying that he could put all the books essential to a liberal education on a 5-foot shelf. If he had lived to see the college outlines, I think he would have cut his shelf to 2 feet instead of 5. For in the 26 volumes of the College Outline series now published, you get the essentials of a cultural education. They carry with them the mark of the educated man. Whether you have been to college or not, you need these handy volumes. If you are a college man, you need them to recall in interesting fashion the things you were taught there. If you are not, you need them to give you these facts that are so necessary to the successful man of today. Each day in college, according to President Ferry of Hamilton College, is worth $100 in later life. Yet, as ex-President Lowell of Harvard points out, it is not the college classroom that is necessary. All true education, he says, is self-education. You can judge for yourself how valuable the college outlines are considered by educational authorities from the fact that practically every college and university throughout the land now uses them, and they are endorsed by more than 2,700 college instructors. I am a strong advocate of outlines, writes a well-known instructor from the University of Denver, as furnishing the skeleton of a subject both to the student and teacher, giving the subject a backbone. For many years after he had made his millions, Andrew Carnegie used to employ a tutor to give him the cultural background he was unable to get as a youngster. College outlines take the place of a first-class tutor in giving you a quick and thorough understanding of a subject. Each one gives you a fistful of pertinent reading covering a particular subject, as compared with the usual armload of reference works. Their plan of headlining the essential facts gives you a grasp of the subject in the same way that the headlines in your newspaper give you the background for the story that follows. With your permission, I am going to send the 26 volumes of the College Outline series to you, to read, to try out in your own home for a week, at our risk and expense. Mind you, there is no obligation on your part to keep them. You can return them for any reason or no reason. All I want you to do now is to try them, to put them to the test of actual use, to see for yourself how their headline treatment gives you a thorough grasp of each subject, quickly, easily, and how it shows you the secret of learning any subject. If you were to buy all the books from which the 26 volumes of the college outlines were taken, you'd have a library of hundreds of volumes by 119 different authorities that would cost you thousands of dollars. In the college outlines, you get the headline facts from all those books, and they cost you not thousands, not even hundreds, but only $1.50 at the end of your week's examination, and $2 a month for 9 months, or $17 in one full cash payment. Every man wants to get out of the rut, to grow. Yet who is the one that wins promotion? Is it the man whose knowledge is limited to his own routine work? Or is it the man who, like the famous psychologist William James, realizes that at bottom there is but one science, and that until you know something of all subjects, you cannot know everything about one? So he broadens his knowledge by taking in the essentials of all important subjects. That is what every man must do who wants to be regarded as educated in the broad sense, or even as an authority on some one subject. He must learn something of all, and nowhere can you get such a rounded knowledge so readily or so quickly as through the pages of the college outlines. The only worthwhile liberal education today, says Dr. Conant of Harvard, is one which is a continuing process going on throughout life. And he goes on to say that if knowledge is to be advanced in a democracy, the leaders of opinion and the intelligent voters must be kept in touch with what scholarship and research really signify. To prove that, all you need to do is to mail the enclosed card. The card obligates us only, not you. Will you try it? Will you put your name on it and drop in the mail? Sincerely, P.S. To those who mail the enclosed card at once, we are going to send a copy of our latest college outline, covering every essential phase of journalism. Most of the books you get on this subject cover only one type of writing, such as editorial work, reporting, feature writing, etc. This new book covers all. Not only that, but it gives you a digest of the most successful methods of learning journalism by the very men who originated those methods. To get a copy of this new outline with our compliments, just mail the enclosed card right away. A knowledge of your product is essential, of course, but familiarity with human reactions, human responses to familiar stimuli, is even more important. Oftentimes, when we have been asked to write a letter about some new product, we have sketched the first rough draft of it without seeing the product at all, or knowing any more about it than our average reader. We put into that first draft everything that we should want in the product if we were buying it. Then, after we had our mental picture of the ideal product from our point of view as a user, we took the product itself, studied it, and determined how it compared with our ideal. Many times it has been an approach developed in this way that has proven the most effective way of selling the product. Magic words that make people buy. In Changing the Tides of his 1,000 and More Little Blue Books, experimenting with first this and then another tide, E. Haldeman Julius found certain magic words that were more effective than any others in making people buy. Truth, life, love were among the strongest of these. As part of a title or headline, they always increased the pull. At last was a big help, as was new, advice, facts you should know about, cultural help, but how to led them all. As an instance of this, Haldeman, Julius shows how the changing of the name of The Art of Controversy to How to Argue Logically vastly increased the sale of the book. The same was true when he changed Essay on Conversation to How to Improve Your Conversation. Evolution Made Plain was a flop, but Facts You Should Know About Evolution made the book sell in the big volume class. And everyone knows how The Story of Philosophy put philosophy among the best sellers. How can you apply the same idea to letters? Here is the way George H. Cole of Syracuse, NY did it. He had a series of collection letters to sell, a dry enough product, in all conscience. But is his letter dry? Just read it and see how he puts life into the very first line and into every line that follows. Want to raise money? While they last, the famous Notes on Financing, free! Gentlemen, would you like to see bigger and better collections in a few short weeks? Let me tell you how. I am going to send within the next few days a choice collection of marvelous letters, the cream of the very best collection letters ever written. These letters are probably not like any you have ever seen before because, 1. They actually are the pick of the most effective collection letters ever used, and especially valuable right now. 2. They are the ones which have produced the best results ever attained, in actual use. 3. All are friendly, courteous, preserving, and often creating goodwill. 4. They substitute experience for experiment and are suitable to any business without revision. I'm going to send these wonder letters with no obligation on your part for you to read and actually try out at my risk and expense. But there's just one thing. I don't want to send them without first getting your permission. You can grant that in a moment by penciling the courtesy card enclosed. When I send the letters, there's absolutely no obligation to keep them. While I want you to know firsthand the great results they will obtain in actual use, you are perfectly free to return them for any reason or for no reason at all. But here's the most important part. If you find they are everything I say about them, and you are to be the sole judge, how much would you expect to pay for them? $25? $50? $100? That's what they will be worth to you based on actual results they'll get for you. Use them side by side with those you are now using and compare results. Certainly, if they will do half of what I've promised you, they would be worth that and more. Well, if you decide to try out these letters, you need send me not $25 or $50 or even the regular price of $10, but my special introductory price to you of $3.85. And that isn't all. If within 3 months your $3.85 hasn't grown to many times that amount in collections made and goodwill preserved, send back the letters and I'll refund to you cheerfully and in full every cent you have paid for them. Remember, there are no strings of any kind to my offer. If within 3 months they haven't helped you to the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow by collecting many, many times their cost, then they are not for you. Send them back and get your money. And I want you to note this. These wonder letters are by no means an ordinary series. They are not a series of threats or ordinary dunning letters, nor are they the familiar tear-out forms. They are the aristocrats of the collection field. And just listen to this. The letters are the work of geniuses and worth thousands of dollars, so writes Chas Hardman of Chicago. For they are the best of the best, and gotten together, I assure you, only after the expenditure of much time and effort. The famous notes on financing free. And for good measure, while they last, I'll send you the very unusual and practical Notes on Financing the Business of Moderate Size, with my compliments at no cost whatever. You'll find them interesting and very valuable if you ever want to raise money for your business. But you'll have to send the courtesy card right away, for we're running off only a limited number of sets for this advance edition. And advanced orders are coming in so fast that I'm afraid all of them will be spoken for very quickly. So if you want these wonder letters without risk of loss, and the notes on financing free, you'll have to mail the courtesy card now, today. Yours for better business. Selling a boring machine is a dry subject. Offhand, you'd say it would be difficult to inject much life into it. But just listen to this. Whether you are interested in boring machines or not, wouldn't it stop you? Wouldn't it hold your interest? When millions were actually thrown into the gutter. Dear sir, the most expensive gutters in the world, that is what they called the canals of 1830, which cost $200 million to build, and were doomed by the locomotive. What do you suppose they will call the trenches of today, where whole gangs of laborers take days to dig up stretches of expensively paved streets, just to lay pipes or cables or drains under them? The most expensive ditches in the world, probably, for those same holes could be bored at 1/10 of the cost with a boring machine. All the work of tearing up paving, all the expense of resurfacing, might just as well be thrown into the ditch for all the need there is of it, or the good you get out of it. You see the bores under the street. It can make any size hole from 2.5 inches to 10.5 inches. It can bore any length up to 120 feet. It works as fast as a foot a minute, and it costs only 10 cents a foot. In 1930, we made plans for installing water mains in a newly incorporated borough, writes the So-and-So Township Water Company of Smithtown, PA, through which passed 3 paved highways. Our permit was conditioned upon not breaking the paved surface of the highway. 30 or more crossings were necessary. The boring machine enabled us to do the work in 1931 at minimum expenditure. We know of no better or more economical machine for its purpose. We completed the entire job for less than half the estimated cost of tunneling. We can save more than half for you, too. May we tell you how? Your name on the enclosed card will bring full information by mail, without obligation. Sincerely. Some men are born gamblers. There's a start for a letter. There is a phrase that gets under the skin of most readers. A born gambler. We all feel that we are ready to take a chance when the risk is worthwhile, yet that we know when to gamble, when to play safe. How can we tie that very human trait into our letter in a way that will appeal to our readers? Here is the way the Clinton Carpet Company of Chicago did it. Dear Sir, some men are born gamblers, always willing to put their money on a long chance. But there aren't many hotel men, no matter how strong their sporting instincts, who voluntarily turn their backs on a sure thing. That's one reason for the success of Ozite carpet cushion. There isn't any gamble about it at all. You know when you buy it that Ozite will double the life of your carpets, and consequently, double your money. After all, your carpets are pretty high stakes to gamble with, and the odds are all against you if you lay them without Ozite. What's more, if you put your money on a just as good carpet lining, you simply raise the ante and increase your risk. In the important matter of carpets and carpet cushions, just stick to Ozite carpet cushion, and luck will always be yours, cordially yours. John Kapples, author of Tested Advertising Methods, is authority for the statement that the headline of an advertisement accounts for 60% of the pull of that advertisement. In the same way, the start of a letter makes or breaks the letter, for if the start does not interest your reader, he never gets down to the rest of your letter. Personally, our concern starts with the outside of the envelope. If we can find a good enough catchphrase to correspond with the headline of an ad, we'll put it on the outside of the envelope. If not, we will try to make the envelope look like a personal letter, or use a novel size or design that will attract attention. A miniature letter, for instance, when used with an envelope about the size of a calling card, is one of the most effective pieces we have ever used. An imitation handwritten letter, with hand fill in to match the body, is next. Then Hooven letters, with the recipient's name repeated in the body of the letter. After these come the stunt letters, like those with a penny pasted at the top, or a new dime or German mark or whatnot, all designed to win attention and thus get themselves read. As to the motives to appeal to when you have won the reader's attention, by far the strongest in our experience is vanity. Not the vanity that buys a cosmetic or whatnot to look a little better, but that unconscious vanity which makes a man want to feel important in his own eyes and makes him strut mentally. This appeal needs to be subtly used, but when properly used, it is the strongest we know. Next to it, perhaps, is the premium or gift idea, starting your letter with the gift of some unimportant article to lead your reader onto the buying of your real product. Selling, is just a matter of making people want some one thing you have more than they want the money it costs them. And the easiest way to make them want it is by sugarcoating your offer. Like a doctor sugarcoats a bitter pill, for it is oftentimes a bitter pill to dig up money for something you do not really need. This sugarcoating takes many different forms. The gift or premium is the most common form. Here it is used to sell a magazine subscription. Dear Mr. Jones, as you will see from the enclosed reservation card, we are putting aside for you with our compliments a set of 3 books which for timely value and business interest have seldom been equaled. Thousands upon thousands of these books have been sold at regular retail prices. Thousands more will be sold at the same high figure, but our rights to them cease with the end of our one big edition. And there are less than 400 sets in our stockroom now. These 3 volumes include the famous Obvious Atoms, as well as such popular standbys as The Sixth Prune and The Subconscious Mind in Business. They contain some of the choicest nuggets of business philosophy and homely common sense ever written. They are called The Library of Self-Starters by Robert R. Updegraff. If you will mail the enclosed reservation card at once, calling for the next 24 issues of System, the Journal of Modern Business Management, at its regular price of $5, we will send you, with our compliments, a 3-volume set of Updegraff's Library of Self-Starters, beautifully printed on heavy book paper and bound in thick board covers. The only reason we can make this offer is that we are very near the end of our big edition, with not enough sets left to justify printing circulars and letters to sell them alone. So we decided to use them as a special inducement to introduce the new system to a few select business executives whom we have not been able to reach with our regular offer. LF Laurie, president of the Delaware and Hudson, says that during the past year, 20% of the higher managerial staff of industry have been destroyed or totally disabled as industrial leaders. He believes it will take 4 or 5 years training and experience for their juniors in the ranks of management to replace those fallen leaders. But will it? If they depend upon ordinary training and experience, yes. But if they study each month the proven plans and practical methods of the most successful leaders of today, then we believe they can follow in those leaders' footsteps at once. And not merely in their footsteps, but the enthusiasm and fresh viewpoints they can put into their jobs should enable them to quickly outstrip these leaders' pace. That is what the new system gives you, the practical methods that are producing results for others. It is a clearinghouse for all that is timely and usable in the most efficiently run offices and successful businesses. It is a new deal in business conditions and in a business magazine. It brings you the chance to get in on the ground floor of the new business cycle with all that this signifies of opportunity and of profit. Will you use the enclosed reservation card to try it? Will you accept a 3-volume set of Updegraff's Library of Self-Starters with our compliments? Then put your name on the card and drop it in the mail now. You will never have another such opportunity, sincerely. Gifts or premiums can just as readily be used to sell dental supplies, or groceries, or furniture, or lots. In fact, the principle is as old as selling. Down in Louisiana, they have an old French word for it, lagnapa. When you buy a peck of potatoes, or a dozen eggs, or anything else down there, the merchant throws in a little something extra, just as a goodwill offering, and a merchant is judged largely by the amount of lagnapa that he gives. Well, here is lagnapa as applied to dental supplies. Dear Doctor, with your permission, I am going to send you free a new, self-filling black beauty fountain pen. Pencil with your name stamped upon it in 24-karat solid gold leaf. You will like this good-looking, smooth-working pen pencil. It has all the fine appearance of a $5 pen, and your name stamped upon it gives it a distinctiveness that expensive pens often lack. Practically unbreakable, it will give you smooth and satisfactory service for years. Your name on the enclosed coupon will bring this pen pencil to you postpaid with my compliments. I'm going to send this gift to you without cost or obligation on your part, upon receipt of your next order for products amounting to $5 or more. You can make up your own selection of supplies. The inside pages illustrate and describe many money-saving offers, 50% below Dental Depot prices. I only have 500 of these black beauty fountain pen pencils. Among over 10,000 customers of mine whom I am writing to, this quantity will not last very long. But while they last, I will send you one free immediately upon receipt of your next order amounting to $5 or more. And in addition, I will stamp your own name on it in gold. Play safe. Send in your order at once, and be sure to print your name clearly on the pen pencil coupon, so that you will be sure of getting yours before it is too late. Cordially yours. And here's that same idea so cleverly worded that it makes an ordinary prospectus sound like a most worthwhile gift. It is hard to get inquiries from the right kind of prospect. It is often difficult to get your literature into the right hands. So, when you can make your logical prospect ask for it, when you can make him look upon your advertising matter as a worthwhile gift, then indeed have you accomplished something to crow over. And in the following letter, the limited edition club has done just that. Dear Mr. Jones, I have a present for you. To get it, you must ask for it, and it would be nice if you would say, please. You don't have to guess what it is. If you did, you'd guess it to be a bank for the baby's pennies or a folder for your insurance policies. No, I'll tell you. It is a copy of a handsome printed prospectus, setting forth the plans of the Limited Editions Club for its 6th year. If you have a real interest in literature, if you derive delight from the fine printing of books, if the presence of beautiful books in your home or anybody's home gives you a thrill, you'll want to ask for this lovely prospectus. It is remarkably handsome, and you'll be willing to say, please. for in it you will find the announcement of a first edition of a hitherto unpublished work by Mark Twain. You will find plans for new editions of works by Chaucer, Dickens, Emerson, Hudson, Sterne, Moore, O. Henry, Lewis Carroll, Hawthorne, Melville, and James Joyce. You will find the promise of original critical work from Christopher Morley and H.G. Wells, William Beebe and Carl Van Doren, Stephen Leacock and Van Wyck Brooks. You will find the announcement of book illustrations by John Tenniel and Miguel Covarrubias, T.M. Cleland and George Groves, Edward Wilson, Valenti Angelo, Gordon Ross, and Henri Matisse. Such a prospectus is treasure trove for you if you are the kind of person I suggested in the third paragraph of this letter. I have a copy to present to you, and I'll pay the postage to get it to you, too. Naturally, I'm anxious that you should read it in return. So, if you will simply write, "Send me that prospectus, please," across the edge of this letter and return it to me, I'll do the rest. I ask that you do this promptly, for only 500 copies of the prospectus are available for the people who answer this coy letter from me. Cordially yours. To sum up, one of the strongest traits in human nature is the desire to be somebody, to feel important, to be necessary to the community and those around us. And many proven ways have been found of successfully approaching people through this harmless strain of vanity that is in all of us. That being so, why take the hard way when there is an easy one open to us? Why blaze new trails when there is a paved road already laid? For 25 years or more, the Literary Digest used a letter that started along the following lines. The enclosed card is of real value to you and has been registered in your name. It is for your personal use only. If you cannot use it, we should feel obliged if you would return or destroy it, for it brings to you and a select group of well-known book lovers the chance to examine the new, this or that, etc. The writer used the same idea time and again, and almost every book publisher has mailed repeatedly some modification of it. This has been going on for years and years, yet still the reading public seems to accept it at face value. Still, it is one of the most successful approaches that we know. This was graphically proved this spring when the new Commentator magazine was brought out. The following letter, which, as you will see, used the same general type of approach, is reported to have brought an average of nearly 9% orders. Dear Reader, because your name is included on a selected list of those we should prefer to have as our charter subscribers, we invite you to receive the next 6 monthly issues of the Commentator at the special introductory price of only $1. The regular price is $3 per year, 25 cents a copy. Here follows description of the new magazine. We tell you sincerely that your name has been included at this time because of its special significance to us as a charter subscriber. We have segregated a known and selected group of readers, preferred as first subscribers. With this key group at the start, the merits of the magazine will be discussed in the right circles by people whose opinions are respected. For that reason, we offer you this initial reduced price of $1 for 6 months' issues. Accept our invitation now. Just fill in your complete address on the convenient form enclosed. No postage stamp is needed. Drop it in the mail in the envelope provided herewith. Sincerely yours. There is an old ditty to the effect that he who whispers down a well about the things he has to sell will not make the shining dollars like he who climbs a tree and hollers. Not to advertise is like whispering down a well, but advertising ineffectively is even worse, for you are spending good money to get no better results. Follow in the footsteps of some of these users of tested approaches, proven appeals, and you will take the guess out of your advertising and put profits into your tills. And that is the end of Chapter 21. If you would like to grab your copy of the Robert Collier letter book, click the link in the description and you will find it available in German, Spanish, and French, alongside many other fundamental marketing books. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more direct response content. See you in the next one.